But when you mentioned when you knew Sykes on the outside, then did you know his family much? Because I know two of his sons are in prison serving life sentences for murder as well.
Yeah, yeah. But I knew his sons when they were kids. But yeah, I was friends with Kath. I was friends with his sister. I mean, I could go to Sykes's house. In fact, when they got a little son, and I think it was a Down syndrome, his son, the little one. Jody called him, I think, if I remember right. And he phoned me up one night, Sykes said, because Kath were having this baby. And he was on his own, so he asked me to go through. So I went through. So I knew I was going to be staying at his house that night. So he says, do you want a drink? So we ended up going into Wakefield Town Centre. He went up to a bouncer at a nightclub, said something to him, and bouncer came out with a big crate of red stripe. Do you know, just so Sykes he didn't go in club. Fucking get him a crate of red stripe. So we just went home to Paul's house and just got bladdered. Because he couldn't like, they didn't like him in pubs or in clubs. Because once he started getting a bit fucking tipsy, he could change. Yeah, and like, didn't matter who you were. Who fucking, whether you were 4'5" or 6'5", you get same. You know what I mean? And like, people might think that that's like taking liberties, but he always said to me, Sykes, he says it only takes a 3-stone man to pull a trigger. So they all get same. That's what he said.
So did Sykes have three sons? Because I know in that documentary he had two sons with him, didn't he?
Yeah,
I've
but
been told that one of the lad that I met in Franklin, which was Sharpie, he
yeah,
was the lad that was on the documentaries, was he?
now, uh, Paul, I think Paul had been married twice, you know, something like that. I don't know if he'd been married twice, but maybe he got a young into another one. But yeah, he had Kath had 3 kids. Uh, but yeah, he had like a little Down syndrome kid, and that's when that's when I went through because like he asked me to go through. That's the baby what she were having then at that time. Uh, yeah, Sykes there.
But I think one of his sons is called Paul after him, isn't he? Is he one of the ones that's locked up for murder as well?
Yeah, there's two of them. One, I think one killed an ex-copper. Yeah, I think he got 25 wreck, and one of them killed somebody else.
Well, like I mentioned there, I met Sharpie when I was in Franklin prison, which is another high security dispersal. But
Yeah,
he was I think he's around about the same age as me. I was 21 when I was in there. He was maybe he's a couple of years older than me.
yeah.
But he was a big set bloke, massive. He could have
Mm.
a tear up as well. He'd had a
Were he
lot.
a bully, Ricky?
He was actually but this is when he got found out in prison because he had a lot of trouble with the Muslims, and he'd done one Muslim in down in Full Sutton. Apparently, the story I heard, he went in the showers after the lad. The lad, one of his arms was he had like a gammy arm.
Yeah.
Followed the lad in the shower because he had some altercation with him. He sat on top of him with his good arm, and he supposedly carved him with a razor whilst he was on top of him. But he got
Mm.
sent up the front, and I met him up there. And then he was going around the wing. He was taxing the dealers, and he was giving people a few slaps. And that's when I actually seen him getting stabbed in the neck with a coffee jar.
Mm.
Coffee jar full of chili powder. The lad went up behind him and rammed it in his neck. But that was because he'd been a bully on the wing. When everyone
Yeah,
out on the landings, everyone's clapping, shouting, boo, get off the wing. Because
yeah,
you know yourself, people don't like bullies in prison, do
yeah. No, no, they don't last long, bullies.
they? No.
No,
But then
they
not
get
long
thrown.
after that, he was down in HMP Strangeways. I don't know if you know about that story.
Is that when he got swilled
He did.
with
I
sugar?
got hit with the pool balls and then swilled.
Yeah,
I'm not sure
yeah, I heard about it.
why that was, but I heard along the grapevine, sorry, that was for a similar thing. He was supposed to be taxing the dealers because he had a raging habit himself in prison.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that happens to all fucking bullies. It, like, don't matter even out here. When you're a bully, eventually one day you're going to get it, aren't you?
Oh, definitely. I've seen it a few times in prison when people are going wrong like that. They don't last long.
No, no, there's always somebody bigger.
Because a lot of people think in prison that bullies are tolerated, everyone's bullying, but it's not. When you're in them big prisons, it's different at
Mm,
the local prisons. And at the local prisons, there's a lot of it going on, and a lot
yeah,
of people just turn their heads to it. But in the
yeah.
dispersal prisons, they'll not stand for it in there.
There's too many dangerous people in this den, dispersal systems. They're not going to stand for that shit.
No,
And especially them what just keep quiet as well. You know what they are, but they keep quiet. They keep away from everybody, but they might just pipe up one day and smarten everything up.
hardly.
Mm.